Okay, so we're here after a little hiatus. We're gearing up for the Twin Peaks return. We're waiting till we're at full
Excited.
capacity. Tonight you're joined by Erik Brodsho and Tyler.
Oh, well,
We're both here, and Erik had a little adventure
I did.
over on the East Coast. How about
I did.
you tell us a little bit about your journey and where you went and what you did?
The story of a Broichie Boy in Boston.
Ooh,
Um,
Broichie's in Boston.
Broichie's in Boston, did. Yeah. So a couple months back, my dad had brought up that he had a conference thing for work that he was going to in Boston, and he asked my mom if she wanted to go, but she went and didn't really feel like going and whatever, so hit me up and yeah, of course, your boy was down. I'd never been before to the old Bean town. Um, so we left was from when we're recording this. It was last Wednesday was when we left.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and so we got in that night, got checked into our hotel and shit. For those first 2 nights, we stayed at the airport Hilton or whatever, because that's where the conference was at. Um, and so that was right by the airport. Which, if you've never been to Boston, the airport is kind of to the east, across a bay or across a river bay area, um, from the city itself. Um, so yeah, so we pulled in and we got all checked in and shit. I'm trying to find a. Here we go. So that send you a little picture. That's the view outside of our window, facing Boston there. Um, so yeah, so that night then we went to a cool Italian restaurant, ate there, some good ass shit. Then just went to bed. And next day, my dad went to the conference. I got up, basically went out on adventures on my own. That first day, I got on, um, I got on a bus, um, at the airport. So it was right by the airport. They had a free bus that was part of the public transit, called the Silver Line, and you could take that um, from the airport into the city. Um, so I hopped on that, and immediately from there, I realized then that once you kind of get into the subway system, like underground, you pretty much just can ride it anywhere without, you don't really have to, you know, because I've been on the New York subway back when I was like, 8 or whatever it was when we went to New York. Um, and I never done it by myself, either. So, I didn't know. I assumed you had to pay before you got on every train
Sure,
or
or like have
whatever.
like a card to swipe or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that Silver Line, since it was free and it hooked me up at it's called the South Station, I think. Um, and I hopped on what they call the Red Line, which is the subway that goes north, across the bay. Um, and I didn't have to pay for that. I was like, oh, this is pretty fucking cool. So I hopped on that and took that up to, um, uh, Cambridge, which is where Harvard is, Harvard
Mm-hmm.
and MIT, just
Yeah.
across the little river there. And I went to the natural
Class.
history.
You went to
Yeah,
class.
yeah. They had a what I was looking for some cool museums and stuff, and they had a science museum, but I was hoping they would have like a museum of natural history there. And then it turned out that Harvard did have a natural history museum. So I went to that. So I took that subway up there, through Harvard. That's exterior there.
I think you
Fucking
would
right
fit
away
in
when you
more at
walk in
MIT. I'll just say
on the
that.
right, there's just a yeah, yeah, probably.
Like you
Um,
belong at
they,
MIT.
they had a dire wolf skeleton.
What?
Yeah,
At
the
this
dire
place?
wolf skeleton, like right when you walk in. Yeah, I got it loading up. There we go. Like right away, you walk in the door, right to your right. There's a dire wolf skeleton. Um, and you go in, and there's a bunch of cool shit. I mean, this is here's some relevant to Brodsho interests here. Um, I just I discovered I very much enjoy a good bug board. You know, the some of these fuckers here. Um, you can kind of zoom in and see them. But yeah, like that. The B one's my favorite. The ones that are kind of curling like a little S thing there. Um, but yeah, so you know you start going to get a bunch of stuff. This, and then you start hitting different kind of areas or collections of stuff. You hit some like big animals. You got some fucking some armadangi, like big old uh like classic um load shit.
Did I say
Um
whose skeleton that was? Like this was Jim.
oh, like who it belonged to
Yeah, and who's
before
this?
they got
Who's
to
this chimp?
like the museum. Oh yeah. Um that'd be great. But like yeah, so you hit like there's a bunch of prehistoric mammals. Like there's the ones that are loading right now is um like a old relative of an armadillo. It's in South America, I guess. There's a bunch of mammals that just got big as shit because they didn't have any like predators or whatever. So it was like a precursor or a relative of the armadillo. There's a giant sloth. Um, there's a fucking um, Mr. Don that's there, Mastodon. Um, it was just like I just like I really like that kind of stuff. Like, there's so many times at a lot of these places that I went to where I've just out loud, quietly, but out loud, just being like, wow, so cool. Look at
Wow.
this guy. Like, just, you know, yeah, like that thing's dinosaur tracks that I just sent in there. Um, but then, like, yeah, so you start going through, you start getting some dinos and stuff. You get a cool fucking Triceratops. Um, you get this big fucker. That's the first like big fucker that I run into. I don't know. I forget what it's called. Um, but like, there's a big fucking like turtle shit. They had like a little exhibit on sharks, which was kind of cool.
Ooh.
They had like a bunch of different like shark teeth and like different types of like specialized shark things, like different jaws and like no pun intended, but like this here, this one's like all irregular um jaws, like types of shark jaws. um then there's some rooms that they're super fun. It's a little sad, but but super fun,
A
where it's
little
a bunch
sad.
of fucking little sad. um it's a bunch of like taxidermied like animals,
Oh,
which was really
gotcha.
cool. Yeah. um but you know, you get like a bunch of fucking some of this shit. Let's see what we got. Send you some good stuff here. Got a fucking Babus. Um, but like, yeah, so there's like multiple rooms of this stuff, you know?
Oh,
Um,
crazy. Yeah.
yeah. Multiple, like I said, kind of like collections almost of things. Got this nice little polite wolf boy here. Um, Another cool one. There's another room that had a bunch of stuff in it, bunch of like taxidermy and stuff. Um, that also, I don't know how well it reads through this picture. but it's got like fucking um three. You can barely see them, but it's got three full size like or not wolf, whale skeletons at the top. Um, of it. It's a 2 level thing too. So like this is a narwhal one there too. But it's another room full of like taxidermied stuff. I got some wadib right here.
Really?
Got some. Yeah, I mean, they're Egyptian and like desert mice that look like what they used for inspiration for the mice in Dune. You know,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
some wadibs. You got this guy who's he's a red bellied titty dude.
I like him.
But yeah, so it's like a bunch of that. It's 2 levels. Bottom level is like a bunch of mammals and stuff, including like giraffes. Um, and then like on the second level, then is all like birds. Um, like I took a lot of pictures of the fucking monkeys, dude, because I like the monkeys.
Of course.
Um, but they've got like a bunch of cool birds and shit up in there. Oh, you got these boys here, dude. Holy shit. Um, and like a bunch of like bats. Let's see if I here. This is a pretty good shot of the whale skeletons up there. Yeah, it was just like a bunch of birds and shit in that one. But yeah, so it was a lot of rooms like that where you had like a bunch of displays, taxidermy things, skeletons, walls of things. I kept sending my dad all the bats because he hates bats. He's scared of them. Um, and I was like, "Don't worry, they got some for me too." There's a bunch of like snakes and shit. What I thought was adorable is their bathrooms have like fake fossils on the walls. Uh, there's a room in there as well.
Were you taking a
That
poop?
has no, I was peeing. I
That
just got
was
done peeing and
this
then
is
took
like
a
a
picture.
fossilized coiled turd right there.
Yeah, right.
That ain't no ammonite.
Right. They had some speaking. They had some rooms that have a bunch of like rocks, minerals and stuff. Big old rock room.
Oh
It was
yeah.
cool. It's huge. Just a very big room. There's like a bunch of schools that were there,
Mm-hmm.
for trips and shit. Um, but all sorts of different rocks and stuff. There's connected to it by like the top floor. There's like the Peabody, like I don't know if it's like paleontology museum or something. It's just got a bunch of like human stuff. That was kind of cool. Um, I just ran through that quick. This was hilarious. They had a Native American exhibit, and there's a big thing on it about stereotypes, talking shit about UND. That was tight. Uh,
Oh no way.
yeah, it was sick. Um, yeah, and then from there, what I did, I spent a good couple hours there. Then um, I hopped back on the subway from where I was. Um, or no, I walked to a different line, the green line. I was a little bit away. To hop on that, to take that to connect to the orange line. Hop on that and went up to by where to Bunker Hill, where the Battle of Bunker Hill happened.
Hey.
Which took place here's from a distance. There's a little shot of the memorial there. Um, it was it took place on my birthday in 1775. Um, and it was the first big battle of the Revolution. Um, basically, like the British were coming up from the port, and the people there decided the militia it was just a militia, not a military. Just there's only like a handful of dudes that had any military experience. Um, one of them being the guy who led the group, and then like a couple other people, and they had the high ground, right? on because it's on the hill looking down at the bay where the British were. So the British were like firing cannons at them and crap. Oh, the other thing was like the government or the whatever, the people were just the people in charge were basically just like, yeah, just let them take it. Don't like put up a fight. Just let them take the hill. And they're like, nah, fuck that. So
No, this is my hill, and
yeah,
I
they
will
set the shit up
die
on top of
defending
it.
it.
Yep, and so like they took out, like I said, it was only like it was a ragtag group of dudes, and like most of them just dudes with no fighting experience, or military experience, and they held off the British for quite a while. Took out half their men, the British dudes, and then like they shocked the British troops with like how hard they fought and like how orderly they like left too. Like a lot of those fuckers got out of there. And like the leader and a couple other of the big military dudes end up dying there. But I've got here's like some cannonballs and shit, and like a sword. There's this dope British military drum that was like hidden behind a dark cloth, so like the sun doesn't hit it too long, you know. But yeah, they had a bunch of relics from there in this like little free museum across the street. Here's a couple things they had there too. Funny thing, here's a shot here. So when I was in the museum, my the one for Bunker Hill Museum, my phone died. So I went and looked around. I didn't really get many pictures at the time, and like I got pissed too because I was like, well, I can at least get some like souvenirs or whatever from the place too. But their fucking card machine was broken, and I didn't have cash on me, and there was no ATM there, so I was like sick. And I figured too, it was getting close. It was like about 4:15, and my dad was getting done, I think, around 5 or something. So I was like, I should probably head back before my dad starts trying to get a hold of me, and like he can't, because my phone's dead.
Dead phone.
Yep.
Dead phone.
Yeah,
dead
so
kid. That's where parents go. Like, oh my god.
Right. My dad had pretty good faith in me, but so I got back. I remembered how to get back. Did that, and then that night we went to Chinatown, which is here, I got a little thingamajig there. That's like the main kind of entryway into it. It's one of the larger Chinatowns in the country. Apparently Boston and Taipei are sister cities. But we went there and we ate some dim sum. It was really good. Went back that night. The next day, which will be Friday, second day of my dad's convention. So I went out again. This time, instead of going north, I went south and went to, they have a very highly regarded Museum of Fine Arts.
Hey, that would be fun.
I went to that. And this place I was at for fucking 4 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's very big. I did not grab a map right away, which I should have. I went through a large chunk of that museum without a map, and it was because it's all in different like rooms and stuff, and you kind of go through them, and it kind of flows, and then like some will have central hallways, some are just kind of off to the side. There's some that like there's a door that goes kind of outside on like a balcony of sorts, but it just leads you. Then there's another door on the other side that either continues you on your like gallery part that you're in, or like goes to the next one. So it was like, holy shit. But they have sections where it's like Asian art, or like, and like there's a like, this is from like a kind of Middle Eastern slash like that kind of area. There's like there's a bunch of like let's see, got a bunch of cool statues and shit. This is getting further into like the East Asia, Southeast Asia stuff. And this is all like you're seeing it just out in the open. If you really wanted to, you could just like walk up and touch this shit. You can't, you shouldn't, but you could. A lot of the stuff that's hundreds, if not thousands of years old, some of it. There's a special section on Japan, which was cool. Here you got, your blades, and then those things down there are like the handguard special, like
They're called subas. They're called subas.
Yeah, they're very detailed and all different things, which is really cool.
I think they're Suba, TSUBA or something like that.
Makes sense. And like then like yeah, so there's big section on Middle East and Japan that I hit. So I'm kind of going through this using my pictures. And there's some hokusai there, which is really cool. If some of you don't know, there's that classic, seems to be in like every college kid's dorm, of the big wave, Japanese art. That's big water.
It's all over Harvard. I know that.
Yeah. That's done by an artist named Hokusai, and they have quite a few of his stuff there. I think this might be one of them. I don't remember.
He did like a Mount Fuji one too. Like that's everybody's go-to.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool like prints, like block printing and stuff like that, like this, and stuff like kitty cat. But there's a bunch of that stuff, which was really cool. Yeah, some of the stuff is just insane. Like this here was like an etching, I think. There's a lot of pictures where I took a further one and then got close because like line work and stuff's just ridiculous. Or no, that's just an illustration. That one is. Then like, so then I start the next one that I went to after this, which was the one I was very, very excited for, was the section that had ancient Rome and Greek stuff and Byzantine stuff. This is like the entrance to it right there. So like,
you're greeted by a bunch of Caesars and like
all
Marcus
those busts and
Aureliuses
shit.
and yeah.
Outside of a couple you see there, they're all just out in the open.
Is that Augustus just hanging out?
Yeah, straight in the middle, dude. Just cadding up right in the middle, dude.
He's holding court.
Yep. Look at this boy. This is from the 1st or 2nd century AD.
My Senate.
And it's just chilling.
I have come.
It's just chilling, dude.
Yeah, that's cool.
The crazy thing with these always is looking at the detail on, like you look at like this second one here, like the folds and stuff on the drapery, on the clothing and stuff, and like, it was insane. All the detail and on these things, and like I said, this is all, stuff that is out in the open. One of the rules they did have, like, if you had a backpack, you had to wear it on your front so you wouldn't accidentally bump into shit. But like, yeah, we got some.
You mean a front pack?
Yeah, exactly. This one is fucking what's his nuts from the Odyssey.
Homer?
Cyclops.
Or yeah.
No, the Cyclops. Yeah, but so there's a bunch of that stuff in there. A bunch of cool sculptures and things of that matter. Okay, so this one I'm about to put in, this big bitch here. This is a statue of Juno, right? She's about 10 feet tall. So what you're seeing here underneath it, it helps for size to see how big this bitch is, but also there's school tours, right? So this lady here is describing the story of this statue. So this statue somehow was in the possession of some rich ass dude in fucking Boston, Massachusetts, whatever. Um, and he just had it on his estate, just like outside, like chilling.
Imagine
Um,
that. Jeez.
yeah. And one day, homeboy, after having it for a long time, whatever, calls up the museum and is just like, "Hey, I don't know if would you guys like want this or anything?" Like, and they're like, yeah, it's a fucking ancient Roman statue. Yes, yes, we would. But you see that, it's all marble or granite, whatever the hell it is. And she's a big bitch. That's very heavy, right?
Yeah.
And very big. In order to get it into the museum, this is on the second floor.
They broke the
They had
roof
to
and had a
cut a
crane.
hole. Yep, they had to cut a hole in the roof and crane the bitch in. Also, because of how heavy it is, the podium it's on had to be a certain size, big enough where she wouldn't just fall through all the way down to the first floor, essentially. Um, the head isn't original. The head got lost at some point. Um, so I think the guy had it replaced, and then the nose from that head fell off, so they replaced that nose too. But the rest of it is original. Um, yeah, that was super cool. And it's crazy just walking, because like you walk by the entry to the room that thing's in, and you just look, and there's just this towering fucking motherfucker, this big ass bitch in there. So that was super cool. I'm gonna say super cool a lot, probably.
Yeah. Well,
You got some,
it's like an awe-inspiring kind of form. It's like you
yeah.
haven't seen a statue built like that out of one single piece of rock. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
So after I finish that up, then next is the European art. You get a lot of big ass cool paintings. It's European art.
Some
So
rich ass
like you're
people
especially good. Yeah,
got
you
some
getting a lot
Hell's
of
Black, or like what's that
you
face
just
they make
see
again? The
there's a Habsburg up there. Yep,
Habsburg.
yep, Habsburg. As soon as I saw that motherfucker, I was like, "That's a Habsburg right there." And then and then and then I read the thing, and it was like so and so of Spain, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" And I was like, "Oh no, that's just the artist's name. It was the King of Spain or whatever, but he was a Habsburg." And I was like, "I fucking knew it, dude." Um, but yeah, there's a bunch of cool shit. This one's really cool. This is like heaven, earth, then hell underneath it. Um, and again, there's just rooms upon rooms of this stuff.
Oh, we got a girl
There's
dad.
like,
We got a girl dad.
yep, girl dad.
People watching and
There's
your
this little,
pictures are great.
yeah, there's this little violin that was like for a kid that was made by Stradivarius. Um, let's see, any other cool shit. This is, yeah, boom, that's a cool one. Um, this one's got a whole ass story about this queen. That's really cool. That's there. Include the little story there. But yeah, there's just a bunch of cool shit. This one's really cool too. This is like supposed to be. I think it's the Moses beckoning down the seventh plague, and it's really cool. But then you like get in on the details and like see the little shit. Even that, that's the fun part, is getting real close and seeing the minute details.
Yeah.
And like, here's that there. So like, this is just real tiny shit that this dude's painting in. Like I said, a lot of Jesus's. This one's one of my favorites, giving you a little sod.
Hold on, I'll get to it. I'm on the quiver of arrows and the scythe one, the parrot.
Oh, yep, that was. Yeah, Scythe one. I think that's supposed to show like, I don't know, something to do with destiny and shit. It's a cool little statue, Abraham Garden Jesus. There's also some Renoirs, which are really cool.
Oh, this homeboy's just getting rocked by this like chariot, just grinding
Yeah,
over his nuts. He's like, I'm
Yeah,
just a
that
simple
is
farmer, dude.
so the story, the two, if you look in that one to the left, there's two dudes hanging out in like an ethereal area, right?
Oh yeah,
You see those guys?
yep.
So that's one of her sons and her husband, maybe, and they died in a shipwreck at sea, or they got lost at sea, something, and so that's her in the chariot riding over Poseidon for what he did to her
Oh, that is
kid.
dope.
Yeah. Here's some Renoirs here. I got close on some of them because some of the fun with Renoirs too is like you look at them and then like you see the picture of it, but then you get real close and there's just fucking um like they're just like daubs of color. Like it's almost like you can't recognize it up close essentially.
The impressionistic
There
stuff.
is, yeah, there was some I believe this stuff is some Monet. Um, we got some of that old boy Vincent Van Gogh up in there too. Let's see what else we got up in this bitch. We got some Rembrandt. No, this one I appreciated quite greatly. This one I'm setting over now is like a pipe, a very ornately carved pipe. It's got like figures and stuff carved into it, just insane. Really like the etching stuff because it's like this is something that someone etched into something, right? And then poured ink and stamped it onto something else. So seeing all these cool like hatching and detail lines and stuff was really cool. The painting of Adam and Eve. So now I'm in the American art. This one's Adam and Eve getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden, which is pretty cool. This is a funerary statue, so I'm guessing it's one that was on a tomb or something. Yeah, and then like here's some just quickly. We got some shit from ancient Egypt also. Like the one
Now you're going back.
the second one, the pointy headed motherfucker on here. That's from like 2,000 plus years ago, almost 3,000 years ago or whatever. Like, and I could just touch that shit if I wanted to. I got a bunch of mummies and shit. Let's see what else. I'm trying to get cool sampling of everything. Oh yeah, dude. So there's this painter named John Singleton Copley. There's a lot of shit in Boston named after him. And he was a portrait artist. Many of you watching will know of his work simply for this one right here. Boom. Probably his most known work there. Tyler, do you recognize that?
Not offhand, actually.
That is used for Sam Adams Brewing.
Oh, that makes sense.
That is their logo. However, that is not Samuel Adams.
No.
That is a painting of Paul Revere.
Fraud.
The reason why,
complete fraud.
Yeah, which I heard later when we were doing another tour from when we were walking around, and then we kept running into this tour group. Reason why was Copley had done a painting of Paul Revere, but it was he's too like proper looking, like he doesn't. This isn't that painting. I'm just saying, that's just another one. He's it was like he's too proper looking. He doesn't look like a guy that was going to sit down and have a beer, right?
Yeah.
But Paul Revere did. So they chose his Paul Revere instead. Some other cool paintings there. Yeah, fucking a little Jackson Pollock action up in there. But anyway, so that was that. That was really cool. Again, I spent like 4 hours in that bitch.
Is that Washington?
Then
we got some Washington in here?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some Georgie right there. After that, then I took the subway thingy back up a little further, because I was gonna go to the place where everybody knows your name, aka Cheers. On the way though, I passed by the State House, which is pretty cool. You get my thumb in that one. That was pretty tight. But yeah, so I went to Cheers. I was pretty ecstatic about that. When you go there, the exterior is just like you see on the show, right? There's the sign, there's the little overhang, all that. There's a broad for you there too. You go down the stairs like that, and you go in the door. But the bar that's in the basement, the one that had always been there, does not look like Cheers at all. Like it's its own thing. It's a smaller little space too down there. But I went in there and I had a beer down there. And then I went upstairs because that's where they had the shop at. And I bought a bunch of shit there. And then I realized they didn't have this Frasier shirt that I wanted. That was downstairs. They had like a little tiny miniature version of the shop downstairs. So I went back down, bought that, and then left out the door. Walked across the street. This is a picture. Here's a couple pictures here. Of the Cheerses. That's the bar that's in there. It's got two different like bars, one on either side of this wall. Anyway, but across the street from it, there's this public garden or whatever. That's kind of like a park. And I don't know if you're familiar with the children's story, Make Way for Ducklings. That is about by Robert McCloskey. That is about the goings on at this park. And so they have a statue and a little plaque commemorating that. Just cool. It was there then that I just told my dad that I had left Cheers and whatever. My dad was like, "Oh, did you sit in have a beer at Norm's spot?" And then I was like, "Fuck," because upstairs there they have what they call the set bar, which is where they have like a replica of the Cheers set bar. And they have little plaques where each of the like characters sat at.
Yeah, I'm showing
and
them
I was
now
gonna go to that after
from your posts earlier.
Yeah, so I was gonna go there after I went to the gift shop, but remember I forgot I wanted that one shirt, so I went back down to the other bar, and then left through that door. So I turned around since this was just across the street and went back to the set bar. And we've got a couple shots of some stuff here. They say this spot, the first one is Frasier's spot, but that's like directly across from Norm.
Yeah, Frasier was at the other end.
Was on the same side as Norm, especially later on. But anyway, when I was a baby, unsurprisingly, I was a big baby boy. As many of you not many of you, as a few of you might know, I was the biggest baby born in the hospital on Father's Day of the year I was born in Fargo.
So you got your pound and beef.
But anyway, my uncles, specifically one uncle would call me Norman or Normie after Norm from Cheers, and And I once I saw Cheers, I also fell in love with Norm. As fate would have it, the one spot that was open at the bar when I got there, at the step bar, was Norm's, and I quickly snatched that gravy up, um, and took my rightful place, um, at Norm's spot there. I realize this one picture here too. There's a cardboard cutout of Norm perfectly behind me, overlooking me.
He's like, I'm watching you,
Um,
buddy.
but I realized I was like, this is a good spot. Homeboy had it right, because like it's the one spot on that part of the bar.
Oh yeah,
So
Norm
right
had
next to it, you have
everything.
the server spot, right? So there's the server spot there, so no one can sit next to you, and and then the bar turns, so you got people there. You can choose to be social if you want to, talking to those people next to you or down, or to the people on the other side of the thing, or you can just stay isolated.
Who
Me
took
being
your
a boy that
picture?
likes to get
Who took your picture?
some lady that was there. I sat down at the spot. She's like, "Oh, do you want me to take your picture, Norm spot?" And I was like, "Yes, please." Um, and then that you see the little bar that separates the spot from the server station there. That's like an awesome place to put your arm at. I was like, dude, Norm had it right, bro. You fucking knew.
Well, and you could see
Um,
people coming in too from the TV set. Like he's like the
yeah,
entrance was,
yeah.
in his
You
eye
had an eye
line.
on the door. Yep, yep. Um, but he's by the bathroom too, right by the bathroom. And Cheers. Um, anyway, so I finished there. Had a couple beers up there. There was a Norm hazy IPA that they had there, so of course I had to have that.
Was that the one in the
Um,
picture?
in the picture by his name, yeah, that's the Norm hazy. Um, and then I from there, my dad had finished up at the conference, and then he went to our second hotel then, which was in Boston proper, um, downtown. And it was like a 15-minute walk from where I was at, from Cheers. So I walked there, um, and from there, then we walked to Fenway Park, the where the Red Sox play. It was super cool, um, as well. Like a lot, it was just like it struck me like how Wrigley Field's like this too, where you're walking in Chicago or Boston, and you just like you're in the city, you round a corner, and boom, there's a baseball field. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just out of nowhere. What's cool too, as we rounded,
Oh, you got the
there's a
House of Blues
bar.
in that shot too. So heck
Yeah,
yeah.
right. There's a bar inside like that little brick lower part of of Fenway. I forget what it was called, but anyway, you could go in there, and they have like a little garage door thing there. You can just look out at the field there. Um, I so we sat there. We went in there, sat down, and had a uh, had a beer, had a couple beers there. Um, as you can see right here. Um, and this dude had a big brain idea that I stole, which is, you see how the fence or what the little garage door thing is there, right? With the little um, things. There's another tourist that walked up and put his camera lens right in one of those holes. I was like, dude, that's brilliant. That way you can just get a clear shot of the field without just through the thing.
Yeah.
So I did that. And so from there we walked back. This was just a really cool, just like what you think of. What do you think of just like Firehouse from back in the day? The homeboys in there were just fucking chilling on some fold out chairs. You can kind of see them here. And there's a coffee table, and they're just chilling watching TV. Um, there's this is like this tiny literal like hole in the wall bar called Bukowski's Tavern. Um, it's just this little tiny corner thing. I wanted to go back, never got back to it. We just didn't have time. Um,
Oh my gosh, that is
the next
small.
day, yeah, the next day then was doing some walking around town, essentially. So we went to the Boston Public Library,
Whoa.
which is very cool. It's an old ass building. It's just got, ornate ass shit going on. This there's a room in there that was really cool. It reminded me of there's a scene in Indiana Jones, in the Crystal Kingdom Crystal Skull, where Mutt is riding his like motorcycle through like I don't know if it's Harvard or whatever, but he's riding through a school library, and it looked just like that.
Well, that looks like the library that the Ghostbusters go to. You know, the one where the first
Yep.
in the first movie. They have tables set up like that with those green lanterns and stuff.
Oh, Green Lanterns did.
And they have that same lion outside the library in, was it Chicago?
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
New York. It was New York, right?
Yeah, a lot of those have the shit.
I
Shit in
know
it.
I've seen
That
that lion
lion.
outside the like a library in Chicago too.
This is just some more shots from inside that library. Anyway, but so like the tourist part, that's like the main part, or like the old part, the front part. But then there's a second part that's all like the modern, the use, like actively used and curated library. It's a cool old church. Shit. That's right by there. Some got some ornate Jesus shit going on. But we wanted to go in and look at it, but it was like closed for fucking voting for like a new bishop or some shit. I thought there's this in the middle of one of the streets. There's like a street that is a highway that goes down into like underneath and goes towards New York. I thought it was hilarious because their symbol for it was just a little fucking pilgrim hat. Yeah. I didn't know Edgar Allan Poe was fucking born there, so there's a little statue of old boy.
Oh yeah.
At that point, we had hopped on a little trolley thing that did a tour. We just took it. So we took it for a little bit just until then. We did the Freedom Trail, which is there's a line of monuments and places, buildings that are connected by this or that you can follow a brick line that runs through the whole city. That's of all like Revolutionary War and even some Civil War stuff throughout the town. It's about a 3-mile walk.
Yeah, it's like it goes through like Boston Commons and things like that.
Yep. That's where you start at, is Boston Commons. There's this shit, which is a monument to the motherfuckers from the movie Glory.
Ooh,
right
nice.
there. Yeah, and then you can kind of see here. There's these little tokens at each stop, and you can kind of see going to it and out at that kind of red brick line there, that you follow the whole way. And you hit a bunch of shit, like a meeting house. You hit a fucking cemetery where there's this really cool design thing that they use that has this winged skull on it that's super tight. They use it at a bunch of spots. This is just some famous people's like tombs and shit. I can't see from where I'm at or from the size of my shit who's who there, but there's old Paul Boy. I think this is his actual stone. This is just the fancy one that they gave him there.
That one's
Next
John
to it.
Hancock.
Yeah, there's a little Hancocky there. Let's see. So this one was because Ben Franklin was born there. That's his mother and father's like tomb monument grave thing, and a couple other people. This one I can't see from.
Are people putting pennies on
there.
Franklin?
Yeah, they're putting pennies on all of them because they're like little American whatever symbols of America, right?
That's true, but it's like drop
Yeah.
penny at like Lincoln Memorial. That's like fate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chuck pennies at
This
Lincoln.
is more like you guys created this, right?
Yeah.
Like you did this.
Homie.
That's
Here's
Samuel
your crown.
Adams' grave there. This is the grave of the victims of the Boston Massacre.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit some of these. Let's see. Like I said, I don't know what all of this stuff is because I'm just looking at it. That's the old State House, I think. This is a fun little thing. Andrew Jackson established the Democratic Party, ran for president using the populist slogan "Let the people rule." His opposition thought him silly and labeled him a jackass. So that's how and where they kind of picked up the donkey as the logo for the Democratic Party. Kind of cool. Let's see. Some of this shit will be like the Old North Church and like meeting buildings and stuff. And
oh, you got a guy looking at you. I found a guy checking you out in one of these pictures of the donkey.
Good, as you should.
He's like, you taking a picture of that jackass.
Right.
Oh, finger in the shot.
Yeah, finger in the shot. Market was really cool. This is fun. It's like this little fucking side street that had a bunch of like this old cobblestone on it. This one says the Green Dragon Tavern is where like the
hobbits drink.
Forefathers
hobbits
met there a lot. Yeah, but they would meet there a bunch. It's like they call it like the fucking breeding grounds of the Revolution, some shit like that. So that's not the actual tavern. They rebuilt it in honor of it, but you go through fucking Little Italy is kind of on your way to old Broichie Boy's fucking house, Paul Revere. Yeah, I was trickling some cool shit. Well, that's going to the Old North Church, I believe. And then the nice part then, the end of the Freedom Trail was Bunker Hill, so I got to go back to Bunker Hill. It's the view of the monument from across the way. Here's some things from there. Turns out I didn't take as many pictures because I must have forgot that I didn't take any the day before. But you can kind of see there, that's on top of the hill. I wish I would have got one of the actual hill, but nope. After that, then we went to we finished up, we went to eat then at the Warren Tavern, which is the oldest tavern in Boston, opened in 1780. We went there. It's a little shot of some of the inside here.
Colonel William Prescott.
Yep. And we went and I had a lobster roll there. You gotta. A lobster roll, and my dad and I split a little thing of clam chowder. Because again, we're in New England, gotta do it.
Gotta get fresh. Fresh from the bay.
Gotta get that good stuff. This is kind of cool. Too. This is the world headquarters for Converse is there too, I guess. Just went past that. And then my dad was like, we gotta go to some, even though my dad doesn't drink, right? He just likes the atmosphere. He's like, we gotta go to some Irish pubs too, because that's another OG ground of of Irish pubs in America is Boston.
Oh yeah.
So we went to one called Hennessy's. That was just a cool little alleyway. But the Hennessy's, that is where I had one of these here, which is a
Narragansett?
Yeah. Which, for those of you who don't know, is notable because of boom, that boy, our boy Quint, drank that in Jaws.
Black eyes like a
Yeah.
doll's eye.
Hey, look at that. Hey. So your boy had to get a pint of that. There you go. And then we
So,
went to this other.
Give me the flavor palette. Is it like similar to like a Pabst?
Have you ever
like
had an old style?
or a
Have you ever had an
Hams?
old style?
No.
Yeah, old style or a PBR, I guess. But like it's kind of like the nearest thing I think of is old style. But yeah, it's good. It's like a lager, so just a standard, you know. And then we went to this other spot called Dirty Nelly's, which is another just kind of hole in the wall. It's very small. This is the spot. It's just the bar, and then like enough room for you at the bar, and then like a small row of tables behind you, and that's like it.
Some good window peepers
Yeah.
in there. The guy from Norway.
But on right. So that was that day, right? The next day then we went to Cape Cod. And out that way. This made me happy. I sent this to you guys to fucking Hingham on the way. We didn't go there, but I mean, like, just passed by it. And then we went to.
How are you getting around here?
We rented a car. Then.
Gotcha. Was it a nice car?
Yeah, they bumped us up from what we originally had. We just got a base gas rental, but then we got like a more of a premium one. So we had like an Audi A4 for that one.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty cool. Then we went up to we went to Plymouth then, and went to Plymouth Rock. It is so. It was originally sitting in a place. They went to move it to. They wanted to move it to the center of town. When they did that, it split. So they left part of it back on shore. Then the other part they put in the town center. Then in this like museum. But then they merged it back together in like the 1700s or whatever, and placed it back. Now we have this spot here where I think it's anchored to this X thing. Here you go. And it's in this this kind of, it's ensconced in this. It's down in a little hole there. It used to be bigger, much bigger. But over time, people have a lot of people were breaking off pieces of it to sell back in the day, and just overall being weathered by time. So it is kind of small. There's a nice little solid there. But yeah, it was really cool to see that. Then we went to we were in Hyannis, which is, if you're unfamiliar, is where the Kennedy compound is. And then nearby there's a bunch of like little memorials. There's a little Korean War memorial, and right by that is a JFK memorial as well. So that I didn't take a lot of pictures there because it was like we were driving a lot of it because we were driving through the Cape. But it was really pretty. It was like a lot of it was heavily forested. There was a lot of one of the things that I failed to realize, like, obviously I knew my Cheers being there and whatnot, but I kept forgetting until I was there and was reminded of like, Jaws was fucking filmed on Martha's Vineyard, right? So it was filmed in that area. Um, Fucking H.P. Lovecraft is from that area and spent a lot of time in that Boston area and whatever.
Yeah.
And so like, all that stuff is kind of based in that culture and like,
Edgar Allan Poe, like,
so it's like,
you know,
Edgar Allan Poe, yep. So like when I was driving through like some of these, these towns on the Cape, and it was, when we were there, it was rainy most of the days. So it was, so it was raining and cold and kind of in gray and whatever. I'm like, oh, I could kind of see this, where Poe had, or like, where Lovecraft was coming from, was like Innsmouth and stuff like that. And like,
yeah,
um,
lighthouses
and
and
like,
shit, and
yeah,
that vibe,
and
that
like,
eerie vibe.
yep, yep. And then like when we were there too, like we got out and we were walking around. There's like or drove by. There's like a beach, right? But I was immediately hit with like a realization. It looked just like a shot from Jaws, where it's that beach and it's got like a bunch of tall like grass or whatever right by it on the lead up to it,
Oh, sure.
coming out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they had some of that there. I was like, Jesus. Yeah, it was just really cool, really beautiful. So then after, we got to a point and my dad was like, all right, like at this point, it's basically, there's not much. It's just basically, you can just basically drive to the tip. So I was like, as much as I would have loved to just drive to the tip, we didn't.
I drove to the tip.
I started heading back. Yeah. One of the fun things were some of the names for shit that I saw. So you already saw Hingham, but there's a road called Cumner, Cumner, and I so badly want to go Cumner. I hardly know her. And this was this was funny just because it came right after that. Is another road named Ryder. So you had Cumner and then Ryder. And then there's another.
This road was built by people like you, Brodsho.
Yeah, I know, right?
And these
There's
signs
another...
were like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah. I don't know what this was or what it was. I assume this is a native word, but it was a Cumaquid. Cummaquid. And then there's another one that was Binglewood, which was pretty funny. Other favorite thing, I wasn't quite sure what this meant or what I assume it means was, usually when we saw it, it was in like kind of part with a lot of trees, but it was a residential, so there's a bunch of houses, and it might have been around some bends or some corners. I don't remember exactly, but it was like a little, yellow diamond, one of those kind of just, caution type things, and it said thickly settled. And I thought that was amusing as well. But anyway, on our way back then, we stopped in Dennisport at this cool little, it seemed like kind of a more locally type joint. So what looks like a house called the Oyster Company for dinner. That was the night where we were like, yeah, we're definitely like that. Saved like it's a big seafood meal for that when we were out at the Cape. Of course, we started off, had a little oyster, raw oysters from the area there, and some chowder, clam chowder. Again, it was cold and rainy, so it was perfect. And then I had this, which is a cioppino. It's an Italian stew, a seafood stew. So it's a bunch of stewed seafood. There's mussels, clams, scallops, shrimp, and a half lobster tail on linguine. And there's like a tomatoey, seafood broth that's on there. It was good as shit. I ate it all. It was very good.
Did you have good like afterbirth? You know, like when you would, do a little burp, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, yeah,
Was it good? Like,
yeah. It was tasty.
nice.
So that was that day. Then the next day was just kind of roam around at a couple places. So uh, we went to Harvard then on that day.
Finally, you guys went to school. Jeez.
I know, dude.
Get educated for once, kid.
So yeah, I know. Here is the, some stuff. There's the law school there too.
Was it graduation?
Yeah, it was graduation weekend or week. Like all the places in the area were having graduation. Harvard's was like maybe like today and tomorrow or something like that. But I had my dad take a picture of me sitting in one of those, so show my mom it's the closest I'll ever be to graduating from Harvard Law. Um, but yeah, so we just kind of roamed around at Harvard, which was fun. Went to some places. Here's some shit.
Finally nicer looking. I mean, having a couple days of rain.
Yeah, it's the last day we were there. Like anything, it's always like I don't know if it happens with you, but it always seems to happen with us too. Is we go to on a vacation, the days we're there, will be like rainy or whatever, and then the day that you leave is like the day that it's nice out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were roaming around that, some cool shit around there. And then we went to MIT, and roamed around there.
See any robots?
When I was at Harvard, I got a T-shirt that said Harvard Dad.
What?
Yeah, and then at MIT, I got a T-shirt that says MIT Brother on it. But okay, so
with a picture of Hulk Hogan on the back. MIT Brother.
We went back to Fenway after that because we wanted to get some stuff at like the official team store. But that was closed at the time. We went the first time, so we went back there. And then there was just a couple like piddly shit things that I wanted to go do and get pictures of. One of them, this is just another couple cool shots of that cool church that was right by there. But one of them, when we were on that little trolley tour, she brought it up that there's this hotel, the Copley Plaza, which was the location of an important writers convention that Lovecraft attended back in the day, where he saw Lord Dunsany, who's another writer, talk. Is important for his development as a writer.
Do you know what inspired him the most about Lord Dunsany?
I have no idea.
His dream worlds.
I haven't.
So you know how Lovecraft is all about dreams. Dunsany or Ed something Plunkett, I don't remember his other middle names, but he wrote this concept of like, instead of building a map, like a map of Middle Earth or the map of whatever else, he decided to come up with like the dream planes and things like that. And he has like all these different planes of like instead of talking about like a town on a map, it's like, this is the part of the mind and the dream where these things happen and coalesce. And that really inspired Lovecraft to come up with his dream theories and dream state logic.
Yeah. That's very cool. And then also for some of you younger millennials out there might recognize it for the fact that it was also used as for the outside shots of the Tipton Hotel on the Disney Channel TV series The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. So it's a weird dichotomy of Lovecraft stuff and then Disney Channel Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Well, we can make connections.
Yeah. And then the other cool thing that I wanted to catch before we left, that I forgot to, was they pointed out this building here, which is 500 Boylston, which some of you may recognize as the exteriors used for the law firm on the show Boston Legal, which I and a lot of my friend group were very big fans of. I wanted to go snag that picture too before we left. Got another one at that church, whatever, just some cool shit. Anyway, so that was the final day, essentially. That led us up to then hopping back in Uber to the airport and going back to Fargo. I was, part of me was excited because I missed my kitty cat and my dog. So it was nice to get home and see them. I will say that I want to do this in sometime soon in an episode. The whole time, starting at the library. The whole time we were there, I don't drink coffee usually. I'm a soda guy, so like coffee's a little more caffeine than my body can usually take because with my anxiety. But every morning I was getting a small coffee and was getting pretty amped up and kind of liked that. So I did that throughout the whole trip. So the day that my dad and I went out, that first day, and we went to the public library, I saw a bunch of people, like I said, it was graduation, and a bunch of tourists and stuff. And in the library there was that big grand stairway that I showed. And there's a lot of people who would stand at the top there in the middle and have someone down on the landing take a picture of them up in the middle of that stairway, or on the top floor there. So I was like, oh, we should do that. And then I got this idea. Then I was like, wait, take one of me standing there like normal, but also I'm going to do one where I'm like crouched down and I'm just like barely peeking over the ledge so you can barely notice me. So then that started a thing there where my dad and I would do pictures of me somewhere. My dad would take a wide shot out of something and I would be somewhere in the picture peeking around the side or above something. So like in the library we did quite a few of them. You had something like that one. You had one where I'm farther back. I don't want to give away them because what I want to do is because it's almost like a Where's Waldo, and I want to get these pictures from my dad.
Describing.
Yeah, and play that game with you guys of trying to find the broad. There's a bunch of like where I'm just like ducking behind something or ducking low and just like and I'm just barely peeking. There's a little stretch in those one of those days where you don't get some just because there weren't opportunities to, or like some things where I was like I probably shouldn't. Like the Freedom Trail Day, there's not very much of me doing. I don't know if I did any at all on that Freedom Trail Day, because we're just walking and didn't have a lot of time to just stand and pose photos and shit.
Yeah,
I think I might have done one at Bunker Hill. I don't remember. And then but then the next day, then like Cape Cod and shit, I start doing them again. I did not do it at the Korean War Memorial because I am not disrespectful, but like, I fit more in there before we left. So I've got quite a few, at least a handful, definitely for sure more than a handful of these pictures that I'll have to get from my dad, and we'll have to play the game of where am I? Find me peeking.
That's great. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Harvard to MIT. Yeah, like it's peeking broads, dude. But yeah, we'll have to do that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's a town. It is a very, I don't know if I said this at the beginning or not, but it's a very clean and safe city. I mean, like any city, there's still, things that go on. There's still, some homelessness and some shadier streets or crime and stuff, whatever. But mostly, uh, uh, it's everyone was pretty like cool and like as long as you like just operate under normal street smarts and stuff, like it's very you can walk that whole thing. There's fucking kids taking the subway to and from school and shit on their own. Like it's a very cool city to visit and not have to like you don't have to like be super concerned about where you're at for most of the time. Um and yeah, it was just super walkable, super safe city. That was very nice. And I wanna it's now on like the short list with like Chicago and Seattle as cities that I really enjoy and would like to go back to.
We should do that
like
for Fargo. You know what? We should do a not just Fargo, but I guess we would have to make it more engaging is to do like what to do in North Dakota on any given like nice day, right?
Right.
Or just like the hot spots of North Dakota and what it's known for, like yeah, the movie Fargo, but like did you know actually it was all filmed in northern Canada or like, up north or like in Pembina or somewhere on the border or not even in North Dakota at all, mostly in Minnesota and close to North Dakota or close to Canada where it snowed. But like do stuff like here's our state bird, here's our meadowlark, here's our flower, here's the Peace Gardens, here's what's on the license plate. I've never been to the Peace Gardens, so like that would be a fun trip to go like, hey, this is what our state's known for. Let's go here.
Right.
We could go to Medora. It's known for Medora. It's known for like the last bastion of like cowboys and wrangling.
Wow, where?
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to Boston again to do like, I'd love to do like a Lovecraft tour essentially, where I go to like a bunch of the spots that, either influenced or were referenced in his stuff, or like, and then other like important places where for him historically,
like Rhode Island, Providence.
Yeah. Yep. And all that stuff, and like, I'd also like to do like the Jaws tour thing too, out there. And I'd just like to go back and fuck around in the city and maybe hit some. Like one thing I like to do is be like hit one of the sports there too, like a Sox game or a Celtics game or something like that.
Bruins,
yeah, Bruins just lost in the semifinals or some shit when we were there. Yeah, and just go back and hang out and do more things there. It's a really fun town, and yeah, enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. That's awesome.
Yeah, no problem. But I'm happy to be back. My little kitty cat, who's sitting on my dresser right now, doing head turns back and forth, looking at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
All right,
I don't know.
One last picture. Take a picture of the cat and send it. This is what you came home to. This is what was missing you while you were having this adventure.
Hey, Kirby, little boy. Now he's deciding to just like lick on his foot. Look at me.
Have you noticed like the name fits the personality yet with your animal?
100%.
Yeah.
I also have been calling him my little Pingus too, because he's just a little dangy boy. Hey, Kirby.
Pingus.
Hey. Little boy. Hey. What are you doing, dude? There you go. All right. He's being a little silly boy. Let's see. There's that. There's him looking like a little Pingus. There he is, staring. My boy. And I was worried he was gonna be mad at me. Last time and the first time that I left him, it was very shortly after I got him. And he was he was it was when I went to Nashville, so it was like a couple months after I got him. Um, and he he was kind of pissed when I got back. Like he wasn't hanging out by me and stuff. He was kind of angry. This time though, when I got back, when I was gone, we called my mom one night, a couple days into it, and then my dad talked to my dog over the phone because my dog's very attached to my dad. Like she's very sad when he's not there. It follows him everywhere. And then my mom was like, "Hey, did you want to talk to Kirby?" I was like, "Is he there?" I was like, "Yeah, he's over here. You want to talk to him?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I just said hi to him and stuff. And my mom was like, "Oh, it was so cute when he started hearing your voice. His head started turning his head a little bit, and then he started rubbing his face up against the phone." And I was like, "Oh, I started missing my little boy." And when I got home, then we walked in the front door, and he's always downstairs. So I turned the light on down there. He's sitting down there, just looks up, staring. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like, "How's it going, buddy?" And then just sit there for a second, and all of a sudden he just starts going, "Meow, meow," and like just meowing a bunch at me.
Just where were you?
Went down there, yeah. And then he jumped up, and he had to rescent my hands, so he's rubbing his head all over my hands and walking back and forth, and just was
probably
very
smell like
affectionate
fish,
there.
and like
Yeah,
surf and turf.
He got he ate a little bit, and he got real excited and had some zoomies and was jumping around and running, and yeah, he was happy I was back, which was nice. He wasn't mad at me.
Awesome.
That's my little boy.
It's a good place to end it. So yeah, that was Brodsho's beautiful Boston adventure.
Beautiful Broichie Boston adventure.
Broichie's in Beantown.
Yeah, it's Broichie's in Beantown, dude.
So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for, if you're from Boston or have been there, let us know your stories, what you enjoyed, what are good things to do there. Did Brodsho hit all the spots?
I definitely didn't. Is my perception all wrong also?
Yeah.
This is my first time there, and this is my initial perception. Was my perception right? Was it wrong? Let me know.
Did he even go to Boston? Was he just in Boston? Was he in Pittsburgh?
I mean, yes. I did a lot of the touristy stuff because, again, it's my first time, so I'm definitely doing a lot of touristy shit right away. But let me know for the next time I go, what's the real shit I gotta hit that isn't just the touristy stuff that I did.
Yeah, I'd say like catching a game would be a big one for me.
A game, yeah.
It's a historical place.
I had really good Italian food one night, but I didn't eat in Little Italy. And there's a lot of cool looking places in Little Italy that I'd like to go to. A bunch of restaurants in Chinatown too that looked really good. That obviously I ate at one, but there's more.
Yeah, there's always more, and there could be a part 2 of this. There totally could be a part 2 of this huge adventure. But yeah, we'll save that for a later date, and I'm sure everybody out there is patiently waiting for us to get back into Twin Peaks swing of things. But
oh, dude, I'm so excited, dude.
They have to wait a little bit longer. Once we get there and once we're in it, it'll feel like we had some time to recuperate from what we watched previously, and then just get to jump into it.
It's
so yeah,
true.
Be prepared. It's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you going to say something else?
No, I'm good.
Oh.